We'll start. I'll invite you to move into Sufi grind if there's a different posture that feels more effective for you to move your breath through your physical body this morning as you explore the way you're physically feeling and how that interacts with how you are feeling energetically and emotionally. You will organically move into that. If you're starting with me, inhale, lengthen your spine up through the back of the neck, through the crown of the head. Exhale, lean forward a touch and start drawing small circles. Tall spine. Feeling your tailbone tracing circles on your yoga mat. Invite your breath down into the lowest parts you can feel, low belly, pelvis area. And focus on slowing and regulating your breath rhythm as you smooth the circles out. Be curious if there seems to be parts of the circle that your body skips over. The sensations that come up in any area. And if your circles are organically growing, spiraling out, right out to the edges of your pelvis, maybe the spine starts to move with more freedom. Maybe the ribs start to grind out in their own full circles above the pelvic circles. Same for shoulders, neck, and head. Or, of course, maybe you're moving into more freeform, non-circular per se. It's responding to where your body's asking for a breath, for attention, including slowing down into stillness, lying down. If you have been continuing circles in the same direction, I'd like you now to pause, either return to center or lean forward. Take an in-breath to re-lengthen your spine. Breathe the back ribs out. Exhale, reverse your circles. Six or eight more breaths in meditation. In this meditation. Stay in that deep feeling mode as you wind your way to a still place, sitting or lying down. Rub your hands together. If there's any physical part of your body that seems like it could use a little extra breath vibration, and your hands can reach there easily, once your hands are warm and tingly, bring them to that area. And receive the warmth of your hands. If they don't reach your area, maybe they float to belly or to heart. Prayer, feel them touch each other. Continuously returning to feeling mode through your practice, not as a way to shut out thought, but to get some space from the thoughts that will arise with the physical sensations. And an opportunity to discern, to keep what is useful, to disregard that which is repetitive, the redundant stories. Let's take a Brahmari breath into the heart space. Be buzz breath. Breathe into your chest, your side ribs, the back of the heart. And as you breathe out, keep the lips sealed and make a humming sound, buzzing this area. Now breathe down into the abdomen, the belly, the sides of the waist, the low back. And exhale to buzz. And finally, breathe directly into your area of interest. If it's super tender, you may resist getting a full breath into that space. Be gentle. It's just the breath. Let it soak into the area. And then buzz it. If you're not sitting, slowly make your way up to sitting. If you are sitting, straighten your legs out. Give them a shake or a massage or little taps to get the energy moving, especially if your knees were compressed this whole time. And the soles of the feet together in Baddha Konasana. Hold your ankles if you can reach. Otherwise, keep your hands on the floor next to you to sit up tall. And we'll rock sitting bone to sitting bone a few times, side to side. And then invite the breath again down into low belly pelvis. And feel for the length of the spine floating up from the pelvis. Swaying in the breeze or flowing underwater, whatever helps you connect to the freedom in the spine. This can be a very subtle movement, or it can be big rocks, massaging your hips, thighs into the earth, noticing how much gravity and rebound create movement. All right, pick your right knee up, straighten your left leg out, right foot on the floor. Flex the left toes up to the sky, open twist, right elbow to the inside of right knee, left hand to the ground by your hip. Inhale, get tall, lift the back ribs off the kidneys. Exhale, spiral to the left. Feel more for lifting out of low back than trying to twist around in this open shape. And for some bodies, it will feel safe to let the right sit bone leave the earth. So there's kind of a slack in the right side of your low back, a shortening of the area between pelvis and ribs. That can be great relief for these overstretched muscles, though for some, that's too much compression into the bones of the spine. If that's true for you, keep the right sitting bone pulling down. Take one more breath. Lift the circumference of the rib cage off the pelvic bowl. Exhale, pull your right hip back to pull you back to center. Open the right knee out to the side. Spinal twist, left hand, right knee. Left hand might be gently pressing the right knee down. If you prefer to hug the right knee in the position you were just in, that's fine. Gaze any direction that makes your neck feel part of your unwinding, lengthening spine. Okay. Breathe the low back ribs out. And exhale, release the twist, straighten your right leg out, left foot on the floor. Right toes stay flexed, pointed up to the ceiling the whole time. Open twist, elbow to thigh, thigh to elbow as you spiral your chest up to the right. Maybe leaning off the left sitting bone. Maybe not. And then use the breath. More than any of the physical action here, it's the breath that expands the rib cage, the whole lung area, up out of the low back. If you had an area of interest in opening meditation, see how it's receiving the medicine of this pose. If it's creating pain in your area, change the shape. Pull your left hip down to draw you back to center. Open left knee to the side or mirror the twist you chose on side one. Right hand, left knee. Breathe the back bottom ribs out. Inhale. Exhale, release the twist. If you have a towel or blanket, let's roll it up. Traditional yoga blanket. This is a blanket folded in four, so it's half the size of my yoga mat. I'll fold it over from its long edge and then roll it up tight. A beach towel also works great. I think I fold this instead of just in half, I fold it into thirds, so it would be thicker. If you have bath towels that aren't quite as thick, you might double them up. I want this to keep your legs hips width apart when you're on your back. Now, for some of your knees, it'll still feel too narrow As we move into half bridge lifts, you'll feel a pinch at your inner knee. You might need to take the roll away. I just want to show something real quick before you come onto your back. I like the roll for this because it teaches you, or teaches the body very much, how to feel using the legs, the buttocks, to lift the hips, and equally, because usually one hip flexor is way stronger or tighter than the other, one glutes. Now notice as I press my pelvis up, the tendency when we say lift and bridge, I see a lot of this. Woo. And that might ultimately happen, but here I want you to feel for opening the hips, pressing up. So I'm not concerned. Your breath will go into the chest. But if you start to cave this part of the back, that doesn't work for everyone. Send your breath into the back bottom ribs and see how that feels to your back. So I'll cue that all very slowly. If you come onto your back, put your roll between your thighs. Holding the roll also keeps the inner legs, which I think are an extension of the core and certainly dominate the root chakra in the pose. So you're holding the roll, and that's enough activation for inner legs. You don't necessarily have to squeeze it. Arms relaxed. If it's right for your shoulders, palms turn to the ceiling so the shoulders ease back towards the ground. The collarbone is wide to receive full breaths in. Take a breath. Feel your sacrum heavy on the ground. Breathe the low back ribs towards the earth. Release your low belly out. Exhale. Pull your low belly in. Press your feet down and press hips to sky. Inhale. Set your sacrum back down on the earth. Breathe the back bottom ribs out towards your yoga mat. Maybe spread them out on the yoga mat. Exhale. Press feet down. Press tailbone through towards the roll. Roll moving forward. Inhale. Sacrum plants into the mat. Low back ribs expand. Exhale, press up. All right, take 4 to 6 more breaths on your own. Of course, you might choose to stay up or down for a few breaths. You don't have to pulse on every breath. And see if you can target your inhales into the back bottom ribs, the deepest part of the lungs. I learned that cue specifically from my prenatal or perinatal yoga teacher training. But it changed the way I breathe. It changed the way my spine feels completely. And looking at images of the diaphragm, since that training, I realized that is the most muscular part of the diaphragm, the back part. A lot of it is connective tissue. So maybe that's why it's been so impactful. The diaphragm has such an effect on our posture. So last 2 breaths, maybe less focus on the movement, more on the breath. Everyone bring your hips down if you haven't already. Your choice of resting posture, either take the roll away, separate the feet out of almost to the edges of yoga mat so the knees can rest against each other, and put your hands on your hips. You can direct the breath into low body, low back. And for some bodies, it actually feels like a nice counter pose or stretch for low and mid back to open into a butterfly. Now go into this mindfully if you're not sure, so you can stay with feeling, not thinking your way into it. Feet together, knees open. Here you can feel how the low back ribs lift off the earth. Breathe them back down towards the earth. If that feels like it strains that part of the back, don't do that. If there's ease in breathing the back ribs down, maybe stretch the arms up overhead, maybe even catch opposite elbows for more traction. And then use your breath to create softness in the traction. All right, help your knees back together. Let's come into banana. Straighten your legs out. Breathe back bottom ribs onto mat. If they are so far from the mat that sounds impossible, ramp your head up. Either put a pillow underneath your head or even a blanket underneath your shoulders and a pillow under head. Then walk your feet down to the left bottom corner of mat. Optional, crossing left ankle over right to pin it. If that feels right to your hips, they can still relax. Arms up if that's right for your shoulders. Catch the right wrist and then relax the right side ribs back down to the ground. Feel the right hip heavy. Breathe length into the right side body. If there's very little sensation in right hip, well, maybe you cross right ankle over left and see how that feels. All right, release your wrist. Baby step your feet down over to the right corner of mat. Option to hook right ankle over left to begin. Your feet will probably stay if you don't hook. You don't have to. Maybe catch the left wrist, traction the left arm bones up, and then relax. Left shoulder heavy, left ribs heavy, left hip heavy. Send breath into that heaviness. Option to change the cross of your ankles, left on right. And then come back to center. Draw your knees into your chest. Maybe move one leg at a time real slow as you feel your spine change completely. Sinking low back into the mat. Send breath into the low back. Exhale, hug your knees in, press your tail down. Let's move into sun gazer. Gradually transition your way to all fours. If you're not coming to all fours, option to do another round of banana. Sun gazer is a side stretch similar to banana, or lie on your side for side lying Tadasana. Similar to banana, though you might choose to lift the top leg up so you're not getting that big stretch in the hip. From your tabletop, either on your hands or you can do this pose on your elbows. That's fine. Breathe your upper back up between your shoulder blades. You're not collapsing into the shoulder joint. Let's tuck the tailbone for this pose. Pull your low belly in. Unless that's a painful position for you, then keep the spine neutral. Reach the right foot back, toes stay on the earth, cross right behind left, peek over your left shoulder in the direction of the foot to feel for the right side body, opening to your breath. Scoop the lowest ribs up into your belly as you tuck the tail. That should shift the stretch into right side spine as well as take some of the weight off your hands. If you want to add on the upper spine, maybe the right arm reaches across, same direction as foot, like a half moon shape, but your torso flush to the earth by pulling the ribs in. Now, if trying to balance, you lose the breath into right side body, well, maybe skip it, keep the hand down. Lower the right hand down. Bring the right foot back to neutral. Let's do this. Lift the right foot up, tuck your tail, pull your belly, your ribs in, bend your right knee, press the right heel up to the sky, rotate the top of the right thigh in towards the left just a bit. And then maybe take 3 little pulses, heel to sky, without letting the front ribs belly blow out. Modified pigeon. Bring right knee up to your wrist. And then stay in the hip stretch. Maybe this is enough where you are. Some of you will heel toe left foot back. Getting breath into the right glutes. Change the shape as needed. Sitting down to deer, I think, is always fine if your back is okay with unsquaring the hips. And then ease your way back to a tabletop. Breathe the upper back between shoulders, tuck the tail, left leg back. Cross left behind right, peek over right shoulder. Scoop the lowest ribs up into the waist. Breathe into left side body. Optional add-on, left arm reaching across. Neck is lengthening but soft. So if you can't see your foot, you can relax your neck. It'll stay. And you can experiment with tucking, untucking the tail to modify the opening in left side spine. Bring the hand down, walk the left foot back to neutral. Tuck the tail strongly as you lift the left leg up, maybe 2 inches. Bend your left knee, flex foot. Pull your belly in a lot as you press heel to sky. Maybe little pulses if that feels right to your glutes and doesn't go into your back. Left knee up to left wrist. Shin down. And then ease your hips back until you feel left hip receiving your breath. Breathe the back ribs out. Relax low belly out. And then exhale, hug the low abdominals in. Let's find our way into standing, all the way up to standing. Take a few breaths. If you want a cat-cow or down dog on your way up, you have time to play. If you want to rest in child's pose for 6 breaths, do that. Take about 3 more breaths to transition up. We'll meet. Let's do a couple sun breaths. Tadasana, feet parallel to each other, hands to heart center. Inhale, sweep the arms up, move them any direction that creates 0 shoulder pain. And exhale, bring your hands to your heart. We'll take 5 more sun breaths. Maybe close your eyes. And as you inhale, move your arms. Notice where you feel that in the back. The arms are connected to the spine, I think, at every single vertebrae. So how can you target breath to your desired area through the movement? or through non-movement. More breath. Two more sun breaths. Modified half sun. Step your feet wider than Tadasana, maybe as wide as your yoga mat. We'll be moving into a catcher stance. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, catcher stance. Bend your knees, bring your hands or your elbows onto your thighs. Turn into a little ball. Tuck your tail in, tuck your chin in, pull your belly in. And then untuck your ball. Inhale, heart forward, maybe look forward. Maybe lift your tail, maybe straighten your legs. Exhale, retuck. Pull your belly in and curl back in. Keep tucking to connect to legs. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, hands to heart. Two more, just like that. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, catcher stance. Tuck your tail, curl into a little ball. Standing cat-cow. Inhale, untuck your ball. Expand the front body. Exhale, curl back in. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale to your heart. Once again, together. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold, curl into a little ball. Inhale, lengthen spine. If you look forward, make sure you draw the shoulders away from your ears. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, rise. Exhale, Samastitihi. Now, if that felt yummy to your body, you will continue exactly like that. Some of you will bring your feet back into Tadasana, hips width or all the way together for full suns or half suns, our more conventional variation. Inhaling, arms up. Exhale, either dive or tuck your chin, roll down until all the way into forward fold or come into catcher stance. Inhale, untuck, heart forward, shoulders back, tail back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale into back bottom ribs. Exhale, pull low belly in, fold or curl into your catcher stance. Inhale, back bottom ribs, unfold. Exhale, pull low belly in, fold. Inhale, back bottom ribs as you rise. Exhale, hands to heart. One more together. Inhale, back bottom ribs. Exhale, scoop low abdominals in. Inhale, back bottom ribs. Exhale, low belly in. Inhale, back bottom ribs, rise. Exhale, Samastitihi. Take a moment in stillness with your eyes closed or your gaze at the earth. Feel your feet on the earth and direct your breath either into the back bottom ribs, relaxing low belly. And then exhale, engage low belly. Or focus on your area of interest. Send your breath there and see how it's receiving so far. Maybe hear what it's asking for. Standing side bend, standing Ardha Chandrasana variation. Either stay in Tadasana Or cross left foot over right, staying on the left toes, or maybe you put your foot down. Arms up, catch the left wrist. Your choice whether you turn the palm out, turn the palm in. Inhale, lengthen the left arm bones up. Exhale, head to right shoulder. Maybe press hips to the left. If you're in the twisted root legs, squeeze your root. Squeeze the tops of the inner thighs, squeeze the glutes. Here, especially in this pose, I see this in bodies a lot. Collapsing in the low back. Breathe the low back ribs off your kidneys. Kidneys need extra love in the winter, so send them breath. Squeeze your legs or press feet into earth to come back up. Inhale. Release your arms, release your legs, dance it out if you like. Either reroute your Tadasana or cross right over left. Catch right wrist. Inhale, lengthen the right arm bone up. Exhale, lean to the left, head relaxed. Direct the breath into the back bottom ribs. I've also found expanding back bottom ribs a good alternative to tucking the tail, which when that becomes chronic has its own issues. So maybe untuck your tail and breathe the back ribs out. Good. Use your legs to breathe your heart back up. Inhale, push down and squeeze. Exhale, relax. Dance it out or take a moment into Tadasana and breathe. Warrior 2, separate your feet 4 feet apart. Turn the right toes out, bend the right knee. Let's start an extended warrior. Right forearm to thigh, left hand on heart. Breathe into back bottom ribs and lift your heart into your hand. Exhale, scoop your low belly in and rotate the heart towards sky, if that's right for your back. It may be an energetic rotation rather than a external rotation. Optional, reaching left palm past face to extend your warrior. If possible, thumb to sky, so you're getting the extension all the way down into your hip, into the standing left leg. Sacral pulses. Bring left hand onto your sacrum. Your sacrum is the back of your pelvis. And if it's okay for your shoulder to do this, with the fingers pointing down toward your foot, the sacrum almost cups right into your palm perfectly. Inhale into your heart, lift it out of your low back. Exhale, gently massage your sacrum down. 2 more pulses. Inhale, lengthen the rib cage off the pelvis. Exhale, gentle pulse. Breathe in, spread the ribs into your armpits. Exhale, pulse. Bring left hand to hip, to the side hip. Press it down to help your torso come up. Inhale. Straighten your right leg. Turn the toes in. Hands to hips. Inhale, shoulders back. Lift your heart. Exhale, forward fold. Maybe bend your knees a lot on your way down. If a full forward fold doesn't feel right to you today, put your hands, go to a wall or a chair so you can stay halfway up. And I promise you will still find hamstrings, hips, and low back. Any expression, swaying if you like, bending and straightening knees if you like. Yeah. And inhale, re-lengthen spine. Breathe the back bottom ribs out as you extend heart forward. Bring hands to your waist, elbows to the sky. You may need to bend your knees a lot and tuck your tailbone down to help you stand. Inhale. Warrior 2, turn the left toes out. Extended warrior variation, left forearm on thigh, right hand on heart. And use the breath to find lightness in the whole lung space. So there's not a lot of weight on that elbow. Inhale into back bottom ribs and up into your heart. Exhale, scoop low belly in and maybe massage heart towards sky. Invite the right hip back in line with right heel so you take any torque out of spine. Optional extension, reaching right hand past your face. Maybe keep the palm facing backwards so your shoulder blade is wrapped around your armpit for stability. Breathe the back bottom ribs out. Exhale, press your heels down. Connect to the strength of your legs. I know you feels like, oh, my legs are weak. They're not. They've held you through life this far. Use them. Bring right hand to your sacrum. If you can rest palm on the sacrum, cool. Otherwise, reach it any way that makes sense to your body. Maybe forearm on sacrum. Breathe the back ribs up off the kidneys. Exhale, massage sacrum towards back heel. And take 2 more pulses like that on your own. Feeling for getting space between the bones of the low spine. And put your right hand on your hip as a way to use your legs to pull your spine up so your back doesn't have to do it. Press down to come up. Straighten left leg. Turn the toes in. They can come closer together. Hands to your waist. Prasarita Padottanasana B. Squeeze your waist. Inhale. Super person your chest. Lift it up. Squeeze your elbows back, shoulders back. Choose to stay upright if this works for you as a shoulder opener, or come upside down in your shoulder opener. Continue to squeeze elbows, shoulders back. Tuck your chin in like you're looking for navel. And take 3 more breaths like that. Good. If you're upside down, inhale to a flat back. Interlace hands behind your back or release them to the floor. And exhale, return to your fold. If you're upright, same choices. Interlace and stay upright. Or pull on a strap so you're not straining your wrists. Good straight wrists. I like keeping my palms together so we're not reinforcing that overflexion, that cell phone hand shape. Good. If you feel safe coming up in your bind, reach through your knuckles, bend your knees as much as you need. If your hands want to help, let them go. Okay. Turn the heels in, toes out, horse stance. Twisting horse. Let's do twisting horse. Hands to your thighs, lean forward a little bit. Breathe the back ribs out as you lengthen your spine. Exhale, chest over towards right thigh. How much you dip the shoulder, how much you press the left thigh back. I'll leave that up to what you feel in the left hip. Inhale, center. Re-expand the back bottom ribs. Exhale, twist to left. Maybe go to one each side 1 or 2 more times if your body's enjoying the wringing out. If you feel complete, either forward fold, toes in, or come to Tadasana and breathe. Forward folds. Stay folded, mindfully, heel toe the feet closer together so they're just wider than your shoulders. Those of us in Tadasana, separate your feet a little wider than Tadasana, maybe as wide as your mat, like for catcher stance. And ease down into a forward fold or a catcher stance. If possible, hands between the feet. Those of you who are already all the way folded, bend your knees and hug your shoulders with your knees. Reach your tail back, breathe the back bottom ribs out. Exhale, ease shoulders back, heart forward. Relax your neck. If that means hanging the head, that's cool. That's fine in the shape. Optional, if you easily have your hands between your feet hugging your shoulders, then maybe walk your hands to the outsides of your feet, trying to get your shoulders behind your knees. From that position, maybe start to straighten the legs, tuck your chin in, standing tortoise, crawling into your shell. Or vice versa, you bend the knees a lot, so you're sitting on your own shoulders. In fact, your hands might start to get more of the weight. 2 more breaths in the version that works for you. And then those of you who have your hips fairly low might work your way down to sitting from here. You can sit on yourself and let your hips come down slow if your ground is soft enough. Or if coming through squat of any variation doesn't work for you, ease your way down to your seat in a way that does. Let's do a round of shoulder shrugs in Baddha Konasana. Cross-legged seat works fine if Baddha Konasana is too intense to sit in, or it creates pressure in the low back. Baddha cones, press soles of feet together, spread toes apart. Relax your arms completely. Take a huge breath into your upper back. Hold this first breath in. Hug your shoulders up to your ears. Draw the shoulders back towards each other and exhale. Massage shoulders down your neck into your upper back. Keep your jaw relaxed. Inhale, broaden the upper back with breath. Exhale, squeeze middle angles of the shoulder blades straight into the spine. Keep the shoulders down, keep the jaw relaxed. Maybe pull the shoulders down a little bit using your back muscles. And inhale, broaden the whole back body. Exhale, bottom tips of your wings try to touch. This time arms can help. Bend the elbows, palms out. Squeeze elbows towards each other behind you without popping your front ribs out. Breathe the back ribs out. Relax your arms. Forward fold variations. Either come forward straight spine or intentionally round the spine or intentionally release the spine. Whatever shape you're in, inhale, lift up a little, roll the shoulders back away from your ears. And see if you can keep them back, but still fairly soft as you move into your fold. I know that's a yoga cue I've heard from day one. It's only recently become more apparent in my practice why we keep our shoulders back in forward folds. For decades, I ignored that while I was moving forward, trying to get down. And I realized I missed a piece if I let my shoulders rise up. With your shoulders back, feel for breathing length into the spine, like it's growing right between your shoulder blades. And feel for breathing into the mid back. The ribs expand away from your spine. Exhale, soften the front ribs in. And inhale down into low back, sacrum, hips. Exhale, plug your pubic bone down, pull your low belly in. Keep breathing into back body as you find your way up to sitting in the way your body is cueing you. How can you tell if your body was cueing you? Well, did your head come up last? That's a good indication. Head loves to lead. Janu Shirsasana, left leg straight, right knee open. If you have a strap, I do suggest using it, at least for the first part. Turn belly towards left thigh and feel for a coming heart towards toes, but simultaneously breathe the back ribs out. Shoulders back. Gaze wherever the neck feels part of your lengthening spine. Either stay like that, or if it's right for you to let go of the strap and fold in, you can. Notice the shoulders wanting to crawl up to ears. Notice any pressure in low back, and see, maybe choose to breathe, extend in a way that takes that pressure away, that creates space for all parts of you to be in this pose. Bend the knee as much as you like. Without jerking your head, inhale, just glance your eyes towards your toes. Connect to low abdominals, pull them in to pull your spine up. Hands can help as much as they want. Change legs. Strap around right foot, extend right leg out. If you're not using the strap, you're just energetically feeling into the length. Inhale, sit up tall, plug pubic bone down. Exhale, scoop low belly in as you lean over right thigh. And I don't have a very demonstrative spine, but if you need to see, the tendency is either to try to come down, which can put a lot of pressure in the low back as the spine rounds, or to exaggerate the heart out, which for the shape of my spine will collapse, disconnect my core, and collapse into my mid back. So compromise. Inhale, heart forward, back ribs out. Exhale, low belly in. And if you want to let go of the strap and find ease in the pose, stay with the integrity of the spine, all parts of it receiving breath. And if for some of us, all we're feeling is hamstrings, we'll soften your knee. Back out of the hamstring stretch enough that you feel the whole back of the body. How your heel is actually connected to your head through this traction. Stretch is something I think about a lot as a yoga teacher. An effective stretch is where you feel the traction of the tissues, but they feel like they soften under your breath. If they just feel tight, getting tighter, you're not targeting the muscle. That's different. You're straining connective tissue. Inhale, just glance the eyeballs to your toes. Notice how maybe even your eyes are connected to what you feel in hips. Exhale, pull your belly in to come up. Come on down to your back. Knees to chest. Breathe down into low back. Exhale, press the tail down, hug your knees in. Figure 4. Cross flexed right ankle over left knee. You can put left foot on the floor. Any expression of this that gets breath down into hips, right hip, all the way down to tail. Option pigeon on the back, similar, but you're going to hold the flexed right ankle with your hands and set left foot on floor, or straighten left leg out. For some bodies, it feels safest to keep the heel close to belly, open the knee out. To target the hip itself more, the glutes, you lift the foot up to the ceiling, opening up a good 90 degrees behind the knee, and then draw foot to face. Option half happy baby. Turn the sole of the foot up to the sky, draw the knee down to the floor by your right ribs. Left hand pins the left hip back down. Holding on behind knee works great. Hug your knees back into your chest. Figure 4, flex left ankle over right thigh. If you feel your chin rising up to the ceiling, tuck it back in. Maybe put a pillow or a folded blanket under head. And either stay with gooey movements, gooey breath in figure 4, or put your right foot down so it turns into a pigeon on the back. I do recommend flexing the foot or at least the toes, especially pinky toe, to stabilize the knee. If that irritates your knee, will you listen to what's going on in your body? If it just targets sensation in the hip more, well, yes, that is intentional. All right, option half happy baby. Pin the right hip down. Breathe into left hip. Exhale, soften. Full happy baby or any finishing poses, plows, twists that will allow you to relax. Happy babies or knees to chest, untuck the tail. Press your sacrum onto earth. And if you would like to rest for longer than just a couple of minutes, I'll say namaste to you now so you can turn off your Zoom. Maybe use a timer so you can really let go. My teachers say 5 to 7 minutes, good Shavasana. But I'll stay with you for 2. And just because you can still hear my voice doesn't mean you have to come up. I know I hear the instructor's voice and my fingers and toes automatically respond. While that movement can continue and gradually bring you up to sitting, or consciously let my voice go into the background. If you're sitting, we'll take one more Brahmari. Rub your hands together. If hands can reach your healing place, consider that place a portal. You can put your warm, tingly hands there. If not, bring hands into prayer and let your breath rest there in your healing portal. You can either sing out an om or just buzz with the lips sealed. Breathe in. Namaste.